Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Beastie Common Room Correspondents on October 13th, 2019. I'm Jennifer. We've now got Marjolaine. We'll take her out. We're all waiting for Marjo to say something. Going great so far.
How do we always mess this up every time?
It was going good for like 30 seconds.
I'm Melanie. Hi.
Juliana.
Everyone else is just silent. They're all ghosts. They're not here.
Sophie's also here. Say hi, Sophie.
I already did, but I'm okay. Here I am again. It's me, Sophie.
So, welcome back, everyone. As you can tell, we were probably, after 4 weeks of not doing anything, maybe a little bit rusty. Yeah, so I think is this like a bit sounding strange here?
Yeah, is everyone plugged in?
Yeah, I have mine plugged in.
We are warming up.
That's so great.
The thought, we just had a 5-minute conversation before that.
It was fine. Okay, I think we're good now.
Okay. We can't restart this, so... Or we could, of course, but...
See, these are all the bits you miss in the actual podcast. Because they get edited out.
Yeah.
We don't have that luxury.
So,
hey. Oh my God. Go on, Melanie, you can do it.
What's going on? I should maybe tell that or mention that I am also a bit sick, so my brain doesn't work proper. Take a deep breath, everyone.
Some thoughts.
We
can do this.
Okay, here we are.
Okay.
So once more, welcome back after a long break of 4 weeks. We have decided to take this break and make a couple of changes because our hangouts have been so far always pretty long. So we are trying to size it down to maybe half the time, maybe an hour, let's see. And we are going to focus on one main topic and have a look, at least today, have a look at the last current SpeakBeasty episode. And of course the predictions will be in there as usual, because we can't live without our snacks. And so let's see how this will go. So I was thinking maybe the current episode 97 of SpeakBeasty was being hosted by our lovely Jennifer and lovely Juliana. Sadly, Marjolaine is not here, but
otherwise
since
we'd have had a full house.
Yeah.
But since it was such a special episode, maybe you two would like to recap it a little bit and tell us about what happened?
Yeah, well, pretty much. I mean, Marjo was kind of the star of the episode, essentially. She got us a fantastic interview.
So good.
Oh my gosh. I honestly didn't know anything about William. I can't remember his last name. Do you remember his last name, Jen?
I can't pronounce it. I don't want to try.
The gentleman who plays Yusuf Kama. And I literally knew nothing about this actor. I didn't even realize he was French because his accent is just so, like his American accent is just so on point, but he doesn't really have a French accent even when he's not playing a role of someone who's American / not French.
I was surprised by how different his accent is in real life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought so too.
But he's super interesting, and I totally am fully behind him now.
I think after that episode in the Cormoran, a lot of people were like, well, now he's my favorite character.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already, I'd say listen to that episode. It was really fun to record, and it was really interesting to listen to the interviews. But don't think we're going to get an amazing Because we had Dan Fogler the previous week, and then it was William, and now don't expect that every time.
Well,
I
now
mean,
I
they might actually have some stuff lined up because we just had New York Comic Con last week, and then LeakyCon is this weekend.
I think we would know coming from the common room. They would have teased it to us at least.
No,
Yeah.
that's true. I don't know if there's anyone from.
I think I saw who was recording in the staff room, and I don't think it was anything.
I don't know if
but
anyone.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone from.
They just might be keeping it
went
secret.
to. Yeah, I'm trying to think if anyone from SpeakBeasty was scheduled to go to LeakyCon in Boston because I had a pass this weekend, but because I have a wedding today, and I had to work on Friday, and yesterday I didn't feel like driving 2 hours into Boston, then 2 hours back. I didn't go, unfortunately. It's just a haul, so you have to take the train in too.
Wasn't Lizzie there? I think.
Was she? I think she might have been at New York. I don't know if she was at Boston.
Okay.
So we might get something from New York. I'm not 100% sure because you're right, Jen. They did put a doodle out to everyone in the staff. I was going to say common room. We'll just call it the staff common room. Whatever. They put a doodle out there, but I don't know if they have like something on back order, I guess. Maybe.
I know there's a lot in the works with different actors and stuff, but I don't think we're going to get another one. I mean, 3 in a row would be
that'd be a lot.
Pretty intense. I think it will be back to normally scheduled podcasts.
Yeah, I know we are doing. Oh, go ahead, Sophie. Sorry.
I didn't say anything.
Was it Melanie? I thought it was Melanie.
Oh, sorry. I have the doc taking up half my screen.
No. I was just about to say that, but you're saying there is some stuff in the works. So, what's happening? You know more than us.
The last staff meeting. There is a bunch of stuff in the works, but it can be really tricky organising, like the actors' time with what time we have and stuff like that. So, all I can say is that there might be some fun stuff coming up. We just have to wait and see.
Definitely for the 100th episode too, we're doing something special for that.
Yes, and that is coming up quite quickly.
Yeah, that's going to require a lot of coordination, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Does it start with E and ends with D. Redman?
I can't answer
I actually don't know.
They don't know.
If we told you, we would have to kill you.
Oh. You talk straight away.
It's your choice.
That's one way to get you over here.
Oh, you want to kill me? Come on in.
It'd be a quick visit.
No.
Should we reopen the case?
Let's do it.
Oops, sorry, I just highlighted everything accidentally. There we go, we're good. The dog might have word for a sec there.
All right, so in the main discussion, we are talking today about episode 6 that came out on February 28th, 2016, and was called There's Something About Eddie. And as the title already reveals, the main topic was Eddie Redmayne portraying Newt Scamander, which we will revisit and focus on in our main discussion this week. So let's reopen the case. The main question was in the episode, was Eddie the best choice to play Newt, and how good is he playing Newt now that we have seen 2 movies with him?
He's terrible. Let's just say it. He is a terrible choice, and they should redo both films.
Okay, you are out.
Let's just block Sophie.
Oops, we lost her.
Oh, bye.
No connection.
I think everyone in the world is agreed on Eddie is amazing and perfect and beautiful. I think I saw something where it was everyone's favorite character in Harry Potter is always like different and nuanced, and pretty much no one actually likes Harry. Like he's never anyone's favorite character. It's always like tertiary characters and stuff. But everyone came out of Fantastic Beasts like, I love Newt Scamander so much.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the fans see themselves in him because he's like awkward and nerdy, and
I was gonna say because he is
really
pretty like nuanced, and he's not as like negative, I guess, as Harry. Harry can be pretty negative in a lot of situations, and Newt's just kind of like, I'm here, and he's just like he's there.
Well, you can tell the difference here that Harry has been a child growing up through teenager and puberty and everything, and Newt is already a grown-up man, so he already knows what he wants in life and who he is and
who he wants, right?
I just saw a fabulous meme of Newt being like, at day I'm a meteorologist. At night I'm also a meteorologist, but it's nighttime. And that's so true to him. I mean, he really is what he is, that he lives his job, his hobby, he is really... He's all there, all for his beasts, and that's something that we really love. I mean, we love people who love animals, so here we have the best veterinarian we ever saw on the line.
Yeah, I think Eddie definitely portrays that character pretty well. He definitely shows us that Newt really, truly cares about his animals, and that's his main focus. We can definitely get that from both films.
Yeah. And he's so excited about playing. I mean, you can tell by every interview he's giving, he's just like totally into Newt and the whole world. It's great to have actors that are so involved into the story.
Definitely, you can really tell that with a lot of the actors that, like Newt and not the new Eddie, and like Ezra, they're just such big fans of the universe anyway that you just feel like for them, you just feel like you know how much it means to them, and because it means so much more to them, they do everything they can to make it perfect, which I think is really nice.
Yes.
Well, in the episode, the hosts were thinking that if Eddie possibly has been cast as Newt because he was in trend at the time, because he was appearing in a lot of movies back at the day, and even won an Oscar for Best Actor in Theory of Everything. And what are your thoughts on that?
I don't remember if he had the Oscar before he got cast or after he got cast.
I think he'd just been cast and then he won the Oscar.
Yeah. I do remember that Catherine was cast in June of 2015, and he was cast shortly before that. So I don't remember when exactly he got cast. But yeah, I mean, it's nothing wrong with casting somebody who is in right now. So I mean, he's a character. It's not like that. They cast Vin Diesel. Just imagine Vin Diesel as Newt Scamander.
Or The Rock.
Or The Rock.
He'd be really funny though.
Well, he's a Hufflepuff, so it would fit at least.
I mean, I can see it.
But I think that they cast
Juliana's face right now.
I'm just trying to imagine him wearing Newt's like little jacket and carrying around the case and just be like
bursting out of it. You can't move.
I say little jacket because the jacket would be like this big on his huge body. It's just like
I'm a meteorologist.
Get in the case.
So yeah, I'm
sorry,
happy
Sophie, you were saying.
Yeah, I'm happy they casted him, so I don't care if he was in or not. I like the fact they have bigger stars than they had back in the day. I mean, of course, you had Gary Oldman and Maggie Smith, but honestly, maybe it's because I was that young or because I'm not British, but I did not know any of the actors in the Harry Potter movies.
Really?
I did not know anybody.
Okay.
I had no idea about Alan Rickman, even though I've seen him in the movie. But Maggie Smith or Gary Oldman, I had no idea who they were.
Yeah, I had no concept for them either. I had no clue.
Over here, they're pretty
half of them
big.
were.
I mean, some of them, I guess, were more theatre than movie actors.
Yeah, that was one of my points here also, that I was wondering that did they, for example, with the casting of Eddie as Newt, is it possible that he might have not been known that well because, well, he's British, and in Britain the actors are, at least to my knowledge, more diverse. They are like acting a lot in theater on stage and not only do TV and movie and these things. So it might also take a while before they do something as big as many US productions, so that they are very well known in the UK and maybe around Europe, but not in the US, and that's why they might have had the idea that he hasn't done anything and he came out of nowhere, as they said.
I do find sometimes, though, because I watch a lot of films, sometimes you can get like oversaturation of a certain person. Like there was one year, it was, I've forgotten his name, the guy who played Dobby. I've forgotten his name in real life.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
It'll come to me eventually. He was in like every film I saw that year, and then you can't help but like then you're confused thinking about, well, last night I saw him in a film where he played this person, and then it's tricky to keep the characters in your head. So I think that can sometimes be an issue, especially like say in the UK when it's like a smaller pool, I guess, of actors, so some of them are used more. But with Eddie, I didn't really find that. I mean, he was then in quite a few like Les Mis and stuff like that, and he's in a new one that's out soon, The Aeronauts. So I find now, like it's like when you see Dan Radcliffe and stuff, you're just like, I can only see him as Harry Potter now.
Which is okay, I agree, because I can watch an Eddie movie that isn't Fantastic Beasts right now. I mean, for the next 8 years, I won't watch any of his other movies. But when it comes to Daniel, I was so angry the other day because they were talking about this movie where he's playing the corpse. I don't know the name of the movie, but they were just referring to him as Harry Potter, and I was like, that's 10 years ago. Let go, you know. That was annoying. But right now, Eddie is Newt Scamander for me, and until it's over, he will be Eddie. He will be Newt Scamander.
Okay, I think Joe. Oh, go ahead, Jen. Sorry.
Something on at the moment. It's a TV program. I can't remember what it's called. It's on the tip of my tongue, can't remember. But Imelda Staunton was in it, who plays Umbridge, and it took me ages actually to realise that it was her, because she was playing such a different character, and I was like, I know that voice, and it took like 3 or 4 episodes until I looked it up. So I think that you can get away with it sometimes when they're so different, you can't really tell who it is.
Yeah,
but sometimes there are some people that are just in it.
For me, it was Emma Thompson as Trelawney. It did not click to me that it was Emma.
I had the same with her as well, but I don't remember in what movie it was that I saw her. But it also took me a moment that something is familiar here. What is it?
Just watch Sense and Sensibility. You have Alan Rickman, you have Imelda Staunton, and you have Emma Thompson, and it's kind of like you're watching Harry Potter set in.
I love that film so much.
I just realized the other day that the woman who plays one of the people in Mamma Mia, one of the 3 main ladies in the group, that's Molly Weasley.
Yeah.
The little short lady.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I was like, oh my gosh, it is.
She looks a lot different because they padded her out for Molly Weasley, so she looks different in real life.
Yeah.
Judy Dench.
Judy Dench, yeah.
Julie Andrews. I always mix those three up. I can do what I want. I always get them wrong.
I think. Oh, my next note here is they were mentioning other people who they'd like to see play Newt. So it might be cool if we list them here. But they did mention one name, and I can't remember the actor's name now, but he played Q in Skyfall. He was like the nerdy guy with the glasses, and he's also the voice of Paddington. So I think he would have been a really sweet Newt. I think he had the same kind of nerdy vibe to him.
I think that is the one that I wrote down here, Ben Whishaw.
Yes.
How do you pronounce that? I think it is that
right.
that one.
You wrote 3 names down and I have no idea who these people are.
I don't know who they are either.
I also have to say I have no idea about the names. I just wrote them down and I Googled them to see their likeness.
I'm gonna Google now.
And
I've heard of them.
One of the 3 looked familiar, but I had also no idea from where.
So I knew Eddie before he was cast, or when he was cast, I was like, oh, this guy. I wasn't the happiest because I felt like he was too overhyped for me at the time. But that's just me. I don't like stuff that's hyped. So, but now I'm in love with this guy.
Yeah, he's so perfect. I think at the time a lot of people weren't sure, but you can't tell until you actually see him. We couldn't have known until we actually walked out of the cinema.
I've seen him in a movie years ago, like 10 years ago or something. I couldn't even remember he was in it, even though he played the main lead.
I get what you say about Tom Hughes there, Melanie. I just looked him up and I did see him in A Discovery of Witches recently. I think he's too cool and attractive, I think. Not saying that Eddie Redmayne isn't a beautiful man, but he could probably pull off nerdy, but he doesn't look awkward enough to me.
Yeah, at least in most of the pictures of him that I could find, he had the same kind of like hairstyle.
He's got the hair.
As he has as Newt, Eddie has as Newt right now. But he has this strong look in his eyes that is just like too, hey, you know?
Yeah, he's like,
too direct, too strong somehow.
Yeah,
and there's, I mean, I'm sure he could act it in a different way, but just the way he naturally gives a look into the camera is like very different from what we are used to from Newt. So
I feel like the
taller.
Yeah, I feel like the Tom Hughes guy has like that like sexy smoldery look. You're right. Definitely. And then the Ben Whishaw guy, he still has. I feel like he has more of the shyness of Eddie, but he still has like more intensity in his eyes and the way that he looks. Just from all the pictures I was just looking at, he just like looks a little bit more intense and like slightly more cool kid than.
Yeah, and then there was
Eddie.
and then there was Luke Treadaway, which I haven't. I think I have seen him. I think somewhere, but the name doesn't tell me anything. And
he looks like I don't even know.
It's really impressive.
But out of those 3, I would have thought that he looks most similar, maybe to.
Yeah. There's one here when he was in an Agatha Christie film. He does look a bit like Newt, actually.
He's cute.
Who made that noise?
Whatever.
Was that Sophie?
I think so. She's not impressed.
Nope.
So, this is a very exciting episode for the listeners. We're just Googling these guys.
You can Google alongside with us.
I would recommend.
This Luke Treadaway is 5 centimeters shorter than Catherine, so it wouldn't have worked. Sorry.
I don't get the guy's got to be taller thing. I think that's silly.
It's an aesthetic thing in my eyes. I mean, in real life, okay, but not on film. I don't like it. Catherine did with Joaquin Phoenix, and he is way shorter than her, and I love both of them, but it just didn't click. It was weird.
Catherine is just crazy tall, though, isn't she, as well?
How tall is she?
So tall.
on your terms, 5'11".
I was gonna say, what's that in normal money?
You have to give it to me in crazy US measurements.
Not making sense and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no measurements in the US make sense. Everything's in miles and
We don't
inches
support
and-
such nonsense.
I know, me neither.
But
It's crazy.
then they get all annoyed with the Galleon system. So
Yeah.
that
That's
makes
even
sense.
more complicated.
Mm.
Speaking about casting, I know there was talk about like it would have been nice if there was a black Newt instead, which I think would have been. I mean, because there's obviously not huge amounts of diversity in Harry Potter. I mean, we have got more as the years have gone on, but I think that would have been cool. It was also mentioned recently, and I feel terrible, but I can't remember what podcast it was in. That Idris Elba would have made a really cool Grindelwald.
Yeah.
And I mean, that would have been kind of perfect, don't you think?
Would have been, but at the same time, having a black person play the bad guy is not.
Oh, I suppose it probably wouldn't really help, would it?
So I would have liked if Newt would have been casted as a black person, but at the same time, whoever I think about doesn't or didn't have the same stardom that that Eddie had at that time.
Yeah, they do need at least someone that people who aren't Harry Potter fans are going to say, I want to go see the new Eddie Redmayne film.
Yeah.
In the episode, Aaron actually mentioned or said that if Newt would have been played by a black person, they would have had to, on top of all the political situation, the Second Salomers and everything else that's going on that makes trouble for the wizarding world, it would have been even one more issue on top of that to explain the interracial relationships and the struggles of it in that time in the 20s.
Yes, but
so it would have maybe been a bit too much.
Didn't Joe say that for wizards, like, it doesn't make any difference, though? It's more like pure blood status.
Yeah, that point kind of doesn't really make sense to me much, because Sarah Pickery is black. So, and we don't really get any explanation.
Actually, that's right.
We don't no one is like, oh, well, she's not white and that's not good. But she's the president of Makusa. Like, she's holding she's a black woman who is the president of Makusa. We don't get any.
But I think.
I mean, she sucks at her job, but.
Yeah. But I think he meant more. He meant more like they would have to. We still have a different angle on the. How can I say? It would have been Newt, and then we would have Tina there as well, so we would have a bit of a different angle to that. So we would have to explain, or they would have to like showcase how it works in that relationship, because that was not like looked at very nicely in the time either. So you might have Pickery there, yes, but she is not the main character of the whole.
Sophie, yes.
Yes.
You may speak.
For me, the relationship we have between Queenie and Jacob is a reflection on what we used to have in America about black people and white people having a relationship. So I don't think they would have made it a big deal that Newt would be black and Tina would be white. It would have just been like, oh yeah, that's normal for us. But we can't have a muggle and a witch being married or something. Just to see the contrast on what they see and what we have seen back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just looked up Idris Elba too, and I forgot who he was, and then I remember he's the guy from Pose, and I was like, yes, he should have been Grindelwald. Yeah. Like, why was he not? Like, why the hell did we have Johnny Depp?
My mum really has the hots for him. We have to see every film he's in.
With Kate Winslet. Because I have not, and I'm really, really disappointed I have not seen the film. Miss Jennifer, your talk to, hello?
Hello? Sorry, I think I just glazed over for...
Ooh.
Okay,
wait,
Glazing over.
Sorry, what were you saying?
it's long gone.
Everyone is confused now, so
What's happening?
I think in this half an hour my germs have jumped over to each one of you already, and everyone is like fuzzy in the brain now.
Yeah,
I think because we've not done it for a little while as well. We had the break.
I can feel it in my left nostril now.
It's gonna spread up to your
Specifically the
brain.
left one.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up.
To make it sure, when
The
Melanie
whole of the
announced
internet
sickness,
knows.
when Melanie announced her sickness, she was like, "My right side of my nose is sick."
Yes. How else should I have announced that to you? It was only here, so.
Maybe the same
Okay.
thing happens to me. I'll be like spritting crap out of one side and the other side is completely fine. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't understand.
I feel it in my throat, so I don't know. I never had just one sick nostril, so.
It's the first time for everything.
All right. Do we have anything else to say about Newt?
We love him. I think that's
Any extra love for him?
lots of love.
Lots of love. Our favorite Hufflepuff hero.
Whoop, whoop. I'm not a Hufflepuff, but
I was going to say, you're not a puff.
I got this
What's
from a
happening?
friend. I've got this from a friend. It's actually a cute story. Because I said I'm a Ravenclaw, but I would never make it into the common room because I'm terrible at riddles. So she said, you can come to the Hufflepuff common room and sleep on the...
Yay!
And then she gave me this.
That's
And that's
cute.
Aww, that's adorable.
I can only second that. You're always welcome in our little cave.
Mm-hmm.
And right to the kitchen, so I'm not against that.
All right. So then let's move on to tea and strudel with Dougal. And as usual, we would like to see presented all your snacks and drinks at once, please.
I just have
What you
drinks
got,
for now.
Sophie?
I've got a pizza, and it's almost
Healthy,
gone because I ate all the topics.
I'm Powerade. Yay! Because I went on a
That's
run
very
this morning.
healthy.
Trying to hydrate.
Like an hour before we recorded, we were all like, what do we have for snacks? I don't have any snacks. Panic.
I've got some gingerbread man.
Oh,
Very
Aw.
festive.
Oh, those are adorable.
But like everyone's being healthy.
I know, I'm going to a
way.
wedding later. That's why I'm not eating snacks.
Oh, of course.
Screw that.
I cannot really eat much at the moment, so I don't have anything to eat, but I have, because my throat hurts, but I have some magical blue tea. I don't know if you can tell that it's blue.
Ooh,
fancy.
what kind of tea is that?
What's in it?
There is some hibiscus, ginger, citrus, some kind of blue flower. I do not remember what it's called, but that's apparently where it's getting its color from. And it's something me and one of my best friends are really addicted to. It's our Austrian tea that she has introduced to me. So
No, it does sound pretty good, actually.
yeah, it's really good. And it
I
has,
love me some tea.
it opens up the nose a little bit also.
Mm.
So I can actually breathe and talk with you people.
Yay.
Breathing is helpful.
Okay. So
Goodbye, Sophie. Oh, she's back.
At one point, when you're 29 years old, you can't sit in one position for like 10 minutes and not move.
Oh no, I'm the same way. I just fidget the whole time. This sitting in a chair as opposed to the floor seems to be working out a little bit better for me though. So
Yeah, we're not 18 anymore, guys.
don't mention it.
I recorded Accio-Politics yesterday with Adri, my co-host, and we did a review of the Goblet of Fire movie, which came out in 2005. And I was like, holy crap, I'm an elderly person. That's almost 14. That's like 14 years ago.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I'm old.
It's been over 20 years since I've been reading the first book.
Yeah, you're older than you need to.
What I always liked was I was always the same age as Harry and stuff. I really liked that.
I think, when is Harry technically born? Is it 1980?
80.
80,
Yes,
isn't
80.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Is it
when the book
1980?
came out, when the book
So
came
he's
movie
still older than all of us. Mhm.
Yes. So we're not that old yet.
No.
he's the same age as Catherine.
He's actually turning 40 next year.
Yes.
Wow,
Also,
Harry, you're
sounds
old.
more accurate, isn't it?
So no matter how old we get, Harry will always be a little bit older than us.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Okay, that makes you feel a little bit better.
So should we start with the predictions?
Yeah, you talk, Ollie.
Okay. So we have something more random here to start with, which is a comment from Ariel. They were looking once again at pictures of the first movie, and she notes that looking at the coats, she's expecting it to be set in the middle of a cold and brisk winter. And so it was. The movie was placed, I think, in December, right? December 1926.
Yeah, they had the Christmas decorations up.
6th
Oh,
December,
yeah.
1926.
I do actually. Sorry, what did you say the date, Sophie?
Yeah,
The
the 6th of
6th
December.
6th
I know
of
I've got it on my
December.
calendar somewhere.
That's the day
That's-
before my sister's birthday.
That's the Finnish Independence Day, and in Germany it's Nikolaus Day. It's when kids get their chocolate in their shoes.
Yes.
Oh wow, I have to go there. I want chocolate in my shoes.
But only if you clean them.
You have to clean your shoes first.
You have to clean your shoes first,
Oh,
and you
that
have
makes me
to
dreadful about
place
that.
them at the door or window or wherever.
And that's why my shoes get only clean on the 5th of December, I think.
Wait, is this just
No,
a
but
national holiday?
No,
Yeah.
it's not a holiday.
No, not in.
You don't have free or something.
Yeah.
But
I have free because it's Finnish Independence Day.
oh, nice.
I think I should start celebrating this holiday and just start putting random chocolates into people's shoes on these days and seeing what they think about that.
Please do that.
I usually like give little chocolates to friends on that day,
That's
or
Yeah.
bring some to work and
Yeah.
put a big pile on the table for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
just
what
gonna
I do.
shove chocolate in the bottom of people's shoes, and then they're gonna stick their feet in it, and it's gonna be all melted. I'm just gonna laugh.
That happened a lot to me when I was younger, because I always got these little stuffed animals, and they always push them right into the shoe, and then I would be like, okay, that's it, and then put my feet in, and there was still this stuffed animal.
Mhm.
Okay.
Who now added? Sophie added now very quickly into the doc 6th of December. Okay.
I did that before.
Oh,
I didn't see it before.
And we obviously
I didn't
also
do it.
in
No, I don't have-
the second film that it was still pretty cold, wasn't it?
Yeah,
But I
but
guess in
Yeah.
Rio it's then might not have coats.
So
I
we're
don't
gonna
know.
get like
If it was like
Wasn't that,
September.
like-
we'll see some shoulders. Ooh,
Oh,
scandalous.
That's how I feel about that.
Scandalous.
Then the next point is Shannon is asking, is Tina's necklace significant? Is it a potential Horcrux even? And I thought we give that over to Sophie so she can say more about the necklace.
So
She's getting ready.
Just prepared.
The necklace has nothing so important to do with Tina. It's just actually a medallion where her parents' pictures are inside. So that's what Catherine said. I don't know if that's true, but that's what she thinks of it. And Catherine was also very adamant that she would wear it in the second movie. So she had a little, I don't want to say fight, but she made clear to Colleen Atwood that she wanted to wear it. And the sad thing is, the only scene where you see her not wearing her coat up till here, you don't see the necklace. So I don't know if she is ever wearing it in the second movie. But it doesn't have a significance to the movie. No.
I mean, it's not a Horcrux, but
Oh,
it's
sorry.
significant to her.
That would be so
Can
shocking.
you imagine that plot twist?
That plot twist. And it's not Tina's Horcrux, it's Queenie's Horcrux. And that's why Tina has it, so she can be protective of it.
She can guard it. Yeah.
Damn!
And that's why Credence is a Dumbledore.
Oh.
Problem
and
solved. In the most obscure way possible.
Makes total sense. Absolutely.
Change all the write it so difficultly that in our head it will make sense.
By this point, anything would be possible, so I wouldn't even be surprised.
No, I don't think they're really going to be able to surprise us at all in the next movie. They could like throw in something completely. We could get Sasquatch finally in the next movie, and everyone would be like, "Cool!" And he's technically Dumbledore's long lost stepbrother.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Dumbledore of Sasquatch.
Or Dumbledore has a half brother that's a goat.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it would explain that before.
Yeah.
Awkward. Okay, let's move on. Next on the doc is party time. Still looking at the pictures, as I think they do in every episode so far, and we have no idea which pictures they are talking about. Pictures of the sisters in fancy dresses. Are they going to a party with Newt?
Kinda. But I mean, I wrote it in the doc, so I might as well just say it. I'm bitter. I'm very disappointed because because Shannon talked about the dress Tina's wearing and it was very beautiful and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, it was beautiful, but we don't actually see it in the film because all we see is her sitting down and we just see her right under her chest. So
I mean, it's pretty fancy at the top, isn't it?
it is.
I do remember thinking, Christ, is her boob going to fall out of her? It's a bit risque.
But
Not something I would wear. One might fall out.
Yeah. They are pretty. I mean, I've seen them naked and I can say they look pretty. But at the same time,
Tape yourself in.
But at the same time, I mean, there is this scene where they all walk into the bar and she's like so confident because she is doing her aura job, and I really laughed at about the scene. And what are you doing, Juliana?
I was walking into the bar all confident.
Oh, yeah. No, yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly like
Perfect.
that.
Ooh, hey, up here.
The gun hands just make it perfect. That's great.
Yeah, but that scene sadly got cut where she was like, "Hey, you."
But you got the finger in the
Finger
For
once,
that-
yeah.
For that,
Oh,
they
yeah.
should have. For that, they should have cast the Tom Hughes, or what was his name earlier?
Oh, yeah.
With
The sexy guy.
Yeah.
W's, yeah.
Oh, but there's also the moment when Newt is like scanning Tina up and down, and you're just like, "Oh, he has feeling." Okay, moving on. Enough about Tina for me. I'm shutting up now.
Ariel, while looking at newly announced roles, assuming that Newt travels by ship to New York.
Just true.
Very good.
I mean,
I don't think.
moving on.
When did we know that you couldn't operate that far?
I mean, we knew that.
So I'd always assumed that he could apparate, but I just couldn't. Like, I didn't realize you couldn't apparate that far.
There was something about the body of water that you can't apparate over that because it would be too dangerous.
Mm.
So great distances like this are better to be traveled in a different way.
I think it has something to do with you have to have been in this place so you can really imagine it.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of makes sense.
So it would make sense that he takes a boat or ship.
It takes a very long time, though, doesn't it? A boat to America.
Maybe apparating from boat to boat. You don't know.
Sneaky. I like that. Like when I love the bit when in the first film when he's apparating from rooftop to rooftop, following the Obscurus. I think that's really cool.
I mean, that's every superhero can do that, jumping from, but always with their special skills. Like Spidey is with his spider webs, and Superman just flies. And I know what Batman did, but he probably did the same thing. And then you have Newt with his special powers. So that's cool.
So we want to see that in one of the next movies, jumping from boat to boat.
Yeah, that's what we really didn't see. That's definitely what happened. Him just
since we know, we know there's going to be somewhere. Yeah, but we know there's more traveling coming up, so there might be a possibility.
Also, there will be more traveling on the oceans because of the war. So there will be a lot of submarines and a lot of ships and boats, and so he could do it.
Now imagine him being on a submarine and his case opens up again and all the beasts are loose.
On a submarine, they'd so all die.
Yeah. The possibilities are endless.
If you guys see my screen moving, it's because I'm dealing with this right now.
Aww.
She's giving me her butt to scratch.
And also looking really guilty.
Oh,
God.
And what are you doing?
It looks like she's peeing, but then she is a she, so she doesn't pee like that.
I think she was scratching
She's scratching her butt.
Yeah.
She's just hanging out back here. She's been putting her face in my lap the whole time. So
better than that she's putting her butt in your face.
When I stretch after my runs, I just get her butt directly in my face the entire time.
Who doesn't have pets? We all do get pet butts in our face.
It's the reality of the situation.
Really. Okay, moving on.
Distraction, sorry.
Enough about butts.
Enough about dog butts.
The next one is coming from Aaron. Speaking of Shaw Sr. and Shaw Jr., he expects that something political will happen in the no-match community, which will affect the wizarding world in a big way. A second Sailor Moon type of thing.
Yes, it does. Okay, moving on.
I mean, it's pretty spot on.
I mean, they are not really connected to the second Sailor Moon, so.
But I mean, they do get connected. Kind of.
Yeah.
Well, Landon does, but
yeah.
Henry and his father are pretty much like, get out of here, you freaks, and so get murdered. But okay.
I am planning to go through all the predictions we have had talked about so far, and I'm gonna make like a point system.
Oh, that's cool.
I like a yes/no kind of.
And I am pretty sure that so far Aaron is actually in the lead.
Really good.
Yeah.
I think eventually he might fall out of the lead, but only because he wasn't on a huge amount of episodes.
Yeah, he's not that long at the show, but yeah.
I don't know when, isn't he leaving in like the 50s or the 60s only? So he does have, for the first movie, he does have a lot of going still.
It's still a bit of time, I think. I'm not sure how far, but anyway, right now I think that he's still in the lead.
Yes. The award is definitely his.
And he gets like big stuff right as well. like big
Yeah.
stuff that you could never even think of that he says just for a laugh, and then it's actually right. It's very impressive.
But it's the big plot points that he gets
We should
right.
get him to predict Fantastic Beasts 3.
I mean, at this point, I think anyone could do it. Just like randomly shout things out.
So Jacob is a Scamander, and Queenie falls into a river and dies.
Don't put that out there, Sophie.
I put it out there because mostly when I say something like that, it doesn't come true. We have the greatest animal in the dog, but I don't know the English name for it. It's an our ox. Do you know? Melanie?
Our ox.
Our ox. Well, it's a kind of ox, but I don't know the real name for it.
I have no idea.
See?
There's also a wolf and a jackalope and me. Very interesting for everyone who's watching.
He's jumping and jumping.
Okay. Then we have Shannon. Will the new edition of Fantastic Beasts still have Harry's and Ron's scribbles in them?
Nope.
No,
No.
it doesn't. Were they actually talking talking about both editions? Because it was once this edition now with the extra, and then we have the illustrated edition.
I
It's
don't
the
know.
same info, like the text's the same though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Just that you have these really beautiful drawings in here, paintings.
Mhm.
I mean, just the dragons alone are just so good.
Oh.
That's Jim K too, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh no, I think it was someone different, wasn't it?
Or is it someone else?
Olivia Lomenek Jill. I don't know if if I'm saying that right. So it's not the same one, but it's really pretty. I really love this.
I think it makes sense that they didn't put Ron and Harry's scribbles in there because timeline-wise, like it was supposed to be an earlier edition.
Mhm.
Or was it supposed to be a later edition?
I don't know, but it was definitely not edition 50 seconds.
Yeah.
I just want to point out there's actually a Plimpy in there, which is my favorite.
Aww.
Cute.
You have a weird face, just saying.
It's fun. I mean, I like this one too.
That's adorable.
Wow. Very adorable, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't have those. But I think it's fine. I mean, I do like the scribbles in the original first one. They're really fun, but it makes more sense, of course, that it's in that edition only.
Yeah.
So no, Shannon, we don't.
I'm just glad we didn't get a new edition after the second film, because they were later in a later episode, they were like, so we are getting a new edition of the book every time we get a new movie.
I thought that was going to happen as well.
I'm just glad it didn't. Because there are no, I mean, yes, there are new beasts, but it wouldn't make sense why they're now.
But I think since this one came out, it's been, I think this is from 2001. It has been quite a while since they published this one. And now I would assume that they leave us again for a while hanging here.
Yeah.
And they will maybe give another edition when all the movies are done.
That's what I was thinking. That would logistically make the most sense.
Yeah.
I did really like the foreword they put in it with Newt saying that like the all the stuff with Rita Skeeter calling him like a love rat and stuff. I just thought that was all like classic Joe, and I just really enjoyed the extra information we got with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I haven't read the original, so the textbook where Harry and Ron have scribbled in. I've read the one that came out with the movie, and then later I've got the scribbled in one, and I just really read what Harry and Ron have written down. So I haven't read the foreword of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dumbledore wrote the forward for that one, didn't he?
But he also
Yes. Wait. I think they switched. Wait, I will have a look. Yeah, the forward here in the first one is by Albus Dumbledore.
And the second one too.
But in the second one, there was something different about. In the new one is actually forward by the author.
Oh.
So they left out the whole thing of Albus in there.
Yeah, but it makes sense because he wrote the book in 97. Well, the book came out in 97, and the foreword was the last thing that Albus Dumbledore did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in the illustrated one, it's the same. It's Newt's own. No, wait. Well, yeah, forward by the author also.
Nice.
So I loved the audiobook they did of that of Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Eddie Redmayne saying "Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them" is something. It's my SMR. Say it again.
It's just so soothing.
Say it again.
I'm sure there are a lot of people though that dislike it and wish someone else would be reading it because there were so many saying that they don't like how Eddie is talking.
Oh, a lot of people said he
mumbling
mumbles.
so much.
Yeah, I think I didn't have a problem, but maybe it's just a British thing.
No, I
actually like it.
Yeah,
I haven't listened to it.
I love listening to him.
The next point kind of falls into what we already said. Aaron says that updated edition as in new beasts, perhaps. So yeah, we got new beasts. Sadly, not the Sasquatch that they were hoping for, though.
That's still time.
Still got 3 more movies left.
In one of those, he has to be.
I mean, there was concept art, wasn't there, of him in the Makusa jail cell? That was supposed to be a Sasquatch. Yeah, they even cast someone as a Sasquatch, and they had like a concept art of it. But it must have been cut out the final film.
So amazing. Why do they cut stuff like that? It's just,
aren't they listening to the podcast?
But really, it's really something like that makes the JKR world so amazing. Just by a glimpse of it, seeing a Sasquatch sitting in a cell would have been like, yeah, that's great. That's funny. Oh, David Yates to learn so much.
Then we have a listener prediction. Newt weaving his own demiguise invisibility cloak.
I don't think so.
I don't think that's going to happen either.
No.
I mean, if he has like 1,000 demiguises and all of them are landing him a hair by themselves, then maybe. But he wouldn't use like Dougal being like, let's
just like shave him. Yeah. I don't know. I can't see him doing that.
I could imagine though that throughout the seasons that he might have a bit of a fur change. I imagine it should be something like with bunnies. They're losing a lot of fur.
You're talking about
you just like brush him every day.
Yes, so you could use that, because if I'm just imagining how much of fur a little bunny is already losing during that time, how much must the demiguise lose with his really long hair that he has all over his body?
That's true.
So you could definitely make make something out of that
Me.
if you started to collect it.
Sounds so disgusting. Yeah, because I'm thinking about my cat's hair, and I'm just like, with every hair they lose, I'm like,
But that would be a possibility.
that would be.
It'd be cool to see him do something like so crafty, like weaving something or something like that. I think that would
I
be
can
sweet.
definitely see knitting. It's something I totally see Newt doing.
I'm actually
But-
writing a fan fiction at the moment. It's just Newt knitting stuff for his beasts.
It's the cutest image I have in my head when Newt is being like,
I just feel like it'd be soothing for him after a tough day.
As it would be for us, no? Right?
Yep.
So, where we talked here shortly in the doc about that, well, that it says in the book, actually, I wrote the quote down here, that a demiguy's pelt is highly sought after, as the hair can be woven into an invisibility cloak. So there was this discussion about either just using the hair or like, I don't know. I don't think we should maybe go into detail with that. But so I would definitely say that he would probably not do anything like it.
No, it doesn't seem like it to me.
Okay, so the next one. Do we have a name on the Niffler yet?
Yes.
No.
Well, we do, but not an official one.
Yeah.
I still believe that now that we had Dan Fogler twice on the podcast already, and
Yeah, he might put a good run in for us.
that he might actually go and make it happen for us. So pastries it is. Shannon is next. Is Newt good at divination? Do we think he could make us and make use of that skill, and in what way? How did they get to?
That's what I was just wondering. I was like,
Divination.
how
I
does
think
this
it
point
was.
even?
I think it was just one of those things where it just cropped up, and there wasn't really that much explanation around it. It was just like, oh, do you think Newt would be good at divination? I do remember being a bit surprised by it. Like, what?
I mean, he has Dougal again. The sad part is that Dougal can look into the future, but he can't talk, so nobody knows what he is seeing.
I mean, he has this powdery stuff that is happening, the gold shimmer stuff that he can see what has been in the past. Yeah. So he can track Tina, but that's of course not the same thing.
No. And we don't really get an idea of how he it's very random that they even mention it, if he is good at divination.
Divination doesn't even really have a great rep, does it? From obviously what we saw of it in Potter, it's I don't know. I just don't feel like he's more science based.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how he would feel about divination.
Yeah. So you think he would be throwing the ball around like Hermione?
Definitely. I think it'd be a crystal ball lubber.
I'm done with this. I'm off to my beasts now.
Dougal will tell me. Like Leslie.
The hosts would like to see the Harlem Renaissance, meaning jazz all over the place. And I think that we have seen in the first movie quite nicely in what era we are at the time. So the vibe was definitely there, but it was missing in the second movie. I mean, we moved over to France, but I
That
think
could have really been any time before,
Yeah.
like current day in France, honestly.
yeah,
it didn't
think
even
so
really
too.
feel very French, I didn't think.
No, I know Marjo did a whole section on that in one of the other episodes about how they missed a lot of the French parts of
She says
being in Paris.
Marcia says you can feel that they're in Paris, but because she has been in Paris, but I don't think one of us has been in Paris.
No.
See, and for us, it didn't feel like they were in France. So
I guess obviously because Marjolaine knows Paris so well, for her it
Yeah,
felt very
exactly.
French. But for someone who, I mean, I went when I was younger, but I don't really remember it. It didn't. I mean, every now and then, like you saw the Eiffel Tower in the distance or something. But other than that,
but
it
you
didn't
don't
very
feel
French.
it. You really in the first movie you felt New York, like
Yeah,
but just because and not
especially
because
like, you know, the
what-
speakeasy and like
Yeah,
the
the
jazz they
speakeasy,
were playing in there.
and the hot dog and just you felt like you were in New York. Paris. Maybe I thought
That
maybe
classic
because
New York hot dog.
yeah, but maybe because the thing is they used a lot of the backdrop sets they had in New York. They just repainted and used them for Paris, and so it didn't really feel like it. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm sure I heard that. I mean, I think they did it with some of them, but they also they built a lot of the French sets in front of the American sets. So they've
Yeah.
got New York and then they've got France in front of it. And I remember reading something about the size, because the sizes of the window panes were like smaller in France or something, so they had to change those.
Mhm.
What I liked, what William said was that they, and I know this from the first movie, the cast talked about it a lot, is that even the things that weren't on camera that you would have never seen were totally detailed, like the shop, the Quidditch shop. It was completely built, and I really liked that, but I would have liked to seen it.
Yeah, because I do
Yeah.
remember seeing about that. It was like you could go in the shop and it's fully decked out and like, but they just walk past it. You don't see it for very long, which is a shame.
No.
Like,
I kind of would have also wished for more to hear more French also, maybe. You know, we hear only very little of it.
Because it mostly focused on the characters that we already know, who are already British or whatever, so don't seem to get as many French people.
Yeah.
But obviously you can't have people talk French while nobody else is talking French. So you can't have Jacob talking English and then Flamel answering him in French. It doesn't make any sense.
I could have like more of an accent though. They could do something else.
But we could
But
have had
accent was
more
funny.
interactions between other people, in not with the main characters. You know, just French people with French people. You know, like hearing more at the marketplace or more in that store, or people coming out, or you know.
I do remember reading that at the marketplace, because they had like a bird market, you know, where Credence stills that bird seed. They actually had to dub the birds because they had these parrots and they were speaking English. So they had to dub the birds into French.
Really?
Yeah.
They talked.
Oh my god.
That's funny.
What a genius job. Oh, today
I mean, you can't really,
going
even though,
translate a bird.
like, I've now watched it really closely, like, you can't really tell that they did that, but I just thought it was hilarious.
No, of course you can't.
In that moment, I'm always just like hanging on to Ezra's face because it's A, beautiful, and B, he's really suffering and it makes me cry the way he looks. But also it's beautiful, as I maybe mentioned before. Because it's beautiful.
Possibly.
He is a beautiful human.
Then I included here one of Jennifer's notes, talking about how they thought all the films are going to take place in America.
I'm not sure why we thought that, but I think we just assumed at the first one being in New York that they all would be. But I think it's cool that we get to hop to different places. Hopefully, maybe Rio will be done better than Paris was. Just have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed.
Do we go to? I want to know. Do we go to Rio or do we go into the Amazonas? I want to know that.
I thought it was Rio.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I mean,
but
didn't
have
Jo
they-
say she'd been typing Rio de Janeiro a lot?
Oh.
Because she spelled it wrong, and
Actually,
she was
yeah.
like, "I've actually been typing that so much
Possibly.
lately."
I just want to see Newt running around in the forest catching beasts. That's all I want to
That would
see.
be cool.
If he has time, he could drag Tina and Jacob along with him. That would be nice. That's all I want to see.
I mean, we might be getting both.
Hopefully.
Could do. Maybe he goes to Rio and then a beast escapes and he has to go through the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, let's just Sobu escape again. Whatever. You know, the smaller ones.
Aaron suggesting in the Newt case that our favorite, the hoop snake, might make an appearance in future movies. I think we're still waiting on that. We have 3 more movies to go.
So funny though. I loved that discussion. If for some reason whoever's watching this hasn't listened to the 6th episode before they've done this, I would definitely recommend at least listening to the end section of the hoop snake because it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I especially loved when Shannon was trying to work out, a similar thing in Wizarding World. So she was just imagining a basilisk just in their hoop, just like rolling along. That was so funny.
Oh, how are you going to protect yourself from that? I wonder. If it's just coming from one direction, you can at least stay like this so it's not looking at you. But if it's rolling around, it's just impossible.
I would start doing tricks with it. I would pick it up and be like...
With the basilisk?
That's how you
He's
die,
very
Sophie.
strong.
I want to see how you do that.
No, I'm just looking at the picture that's in the doc and on the link. And it doesn't look that big. It looks like a hula hoop, if you ask me.
If it was basilisk size, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Ben shared that picture with us earlier in the week of the.
It's the same one. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
for me
the
here
one
right
that
now.
Shannon was talking about when his hat looks like a UFO.
Yeah.
I just happened to Google it, and then I was looking at that picture, like that picture looks so weird. And then she said she
It's the
started
same
talking
picture.
about it.
Yeah. That was definitely something. I don't know. It feels like such a silly thing. I could really imagine something like that in his case, actually.
Yeah, it seems like a Joe kind of animal that's just
Yeah.
a bit,
Mhm.
just like a bit silly.
Okay.
That was our very last point of the day.
Yeah, so we did manage to make it shorter.
I was thinking,
The wedding.
yay, wedding! Since we have a few extra seconds, I got this in the mail a little while ago, and I was reading.
Oh, please read us
It's
some
got a
jokes.
full of dumb
Yes.
jokes. This one made me chuckle this morning. What does a fancy bow truckle wear? A bow tie.
Oh, can you imagine? Pickett's just got a little bow tie and it matches Newt's bow tie.
And I want to see it.
Can we do this? Can we do this every episode? One
Yes.
joke at the end.
That's
Yes.
what I was thinking. Because the book has at
Definitely.
least like 200 jokes in it, and they're all equally as
Good.
dumb.
That's a new segment right there.
Oh, this one's great. Hold on, one
Shoot.
more. What do you call a great wizard made of bread? Crumbledore.
Oh,
So that is my secret Santa this year from the common
Look at
room.
that. Look at
But it's also
It's Crumbledore.
It's the picture.
it's adorable. I want to eat it and hug it and eat it
so
again.
cute.
Oh, wow. Just
I
the
like
fact
this
that
joke way too
someone
much.
actually had to draw that. Just Dumbledore's bread.
Yeah, could
Okay,
you?
this
Dumbledore said?
officially has to be part of every ending of this episode.
At least one. This is specifically the Hufflepuff one, which is appropriate for this because Newt is a Hufflepuff.
Oh, the
there-
different ones for different houses.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I got it for Target for like $5. There's one for each house.
Target here. Why don't we have?
Oh,
Can you get it shipped to you? I just bought it online too. I didn't actually go to the store.
I hope for my Secret Santa from the common room. You know, I hope they
If you're
understand.
watching.
If you're watching, if you get my secret, not so subtle hints, I want that.
She wants.
exactly.
I guess
that
we
one.
need to start that soon, the Secret Santa, because it's
We
it's
do.
October, isn't it?
Mhm.
Chat to Ev about it and get it sorted.
Which is
Yeah.
also a perk if you are in the common room. You get to do a
Yes.
Secret Santa.
Secret
Mhm.
Santa and like postcard exchanges and stuff. It's
Mhm.
it's really cool.
So many
Yeah.
fun things to do there.
Yeah, it's the best. I would show you my present, but I can't find it right now. It's a super cute self-knitted.
I got oh, he's right over here actually. Let me just pull him out. I mean, how cute.
Oh, that's adorable.
And now he needs a bow tie.
Yes, he needs a bow
Yeah.
tie.
He needs a bow tie.
Make him a little bow tie.
Maybe you can borrow Crumble's bow tie.
Can you imagine Newt's going to a fancy ball and then he has Pickett and he's just having
Oh, he's got a
Pickett.
little tiny suit on or something. Oh.
Yeah. I need this to happen. Okay. Moving on to the context. Jennifer, would you do the honors?
So we can it's gone so well. Words. So if you enjoyed this episode, you can also listen to SpeakBeasty on all places podcasts are found. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at SpeakBeasty, on Facebook at facebook.com/SpeakBeasty, on Tumblr at SpeakBeasty Podcast Tumblr. No, so close. SpeakBeastyPodcast.tumblr.com. You can email us at speakbeasty@gmail.com. And if you support the show on Patreon at patreon.com/SpeakBeasty, wow, there's so many things in here. You can become a member of the common room and join in these discussions, do things like Secret Santa and guest host on an episode. We're just basically SpeakBeasty everywhere, because that's who we are.
Yeah. But we are also putting all the links just right under the video in the information. So you can just go and click on it and it's much easier for you.
Maybe we'll just do that next time then. Just like, just go down there. I don't have to say it all.
There.
But you're always doing it so nicely.
And so wrongly. And
It's always wrong. So, I've been Jennifer.
I think I am Sophie.
I'm still Melanie.
I will continue to be Juliana.
Case
Case
closed.
closed.
Yay!
Bye.